Hey Leos, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at the first half of April general reading here. So in your meditation, I immediately saw Ursula from The Little Mermaid. So let's just go there with this octopus queen. She was, in her element, doing her evil doings, stealing voices, making contracts, all those things. But then I saw that all of those actions, within this Leo collective that was being, represented as Ursula, I saw that all of this left her a bit hollow. I saw all of these things. It didn't lead to, the accolade or attention or feelings that she thought it would. So then I saw her, going down to the bottom of the ocean, going into her sea cave. And then I saw her unzip from her body and step out. And it turned out that Ursula, with like all the purple, luscious, thick realness, like octopusness, was just a costume. I saw you as a Leo collective step out of this Ursula costume, thinner, looking a bit different, and sitting down at a mirror and deciding to write your memoirs and writing down the truth of who you were without the costume, without the, flash, without the, all of the drama and all of that. And I saw, instead of trying to exist in someone else's world and beauty standards, right? Because that's Ursula was living in a world where beauty standards were a bit different than what she looked like. And how did she become that villain? Was it that people treated her like the villain long enough that she was like, well, then I'm just going to go with it? Was it a role that she took on? What is Ursula's history? I wonder. But anyway, so I saw, Ursula deciding to write her own life story about what was really underneath the mask, what was really honest for her, and then like it being a bestseller. So I feel like for the Leo collective, I feel like there's a certain emphasis on stripping away and getting down to the root and the vulnerability point of what's underneath the surface. And then thinking about how you can either embody that in a more authentic way and or sharing your story with others. Now this could be, sharing your truths within your friend group. This could be asking for what you really need at work. This could be actually writing down your story and sharing it. This could be delving into the aspects, the creative aspects of you, because it's writing her book, the creative aspects of you that want to be unearthed and shared with others, right? Interesting. So we're going to take a look at your cards here, but before we do, I'm doing a new format where I'm going to come to you first with my whole mug, doing the meditation and greeting y'all, and then we're going to switch it up and it's going to be all about the cards so that you can see the details and the images and the spread. My aim with this is that, I want to give you guys the best of both worlds. I want to be here with you guys in a more personal way while at the same time, allowing for you to be able to see whatever you want to see in the cards as well. Any images that may hold, personal significance or, synchronicities for you as well. So please let me know in the comments, if you would, what you think of this new format. I really want to hear from you guys. And with that being said, real quick, I've been talking about this Facebook group. I'm going to continue to, because I'd really like you to join. If you haven't already, it's a private Facebook group for spiritually minded, metaphysically minded, lovers of the supernatural and all beings to get together in a safe, uplifting, inclusive space and ask questions, share stories, talk about astrology, tarot, dreams, the weather, share pictures of crows, really anything and everything. And everyone is welcome. The link to sign up is in the description box below, and I would love to see y'all over there. Now let's take a look at your cards for first half of April. Hey Leos, let's go ahead and see what your animal energy is for the first half of April. What is going on? Oh yes! It couldn't be better. No, it could not be. Look, it's a unicorn. Listen. Were we not, this is so poignant. Like, let me count the ways in which this is poignant. So, Unicorn energy, first of all, this is a magical being, right? So tapping into that like magic that is Ursula with being like a woman octopus, right? Half human, half, octopus. This is half horse, half mystical, being. It's really beautiful. Also, the unicorn, this horn is growing out of the third eye. This does represent an extension of the third eye, and a certain sense of clairvoyance and being able to see things clearly. There's also an aspect of digging into those aspects of yourself, your specific gifts, and sharing them with the world or getting more clear on them, nurturing them. Unicorn also equates to the judgment key in the tarot in the sense that it does speak of children and the past and looking back on your past for information and perspective and healing. Also represents, unicorn medicine does, artistically gifted children, and also intuitive children. So this is really, really fascinating. Also, given that The Little Mermaid, at least the Disney version, is a children's movie. So this is really interesting. You could be accessing parts of yourself within this month or considering doing so or have been doing so. Parts of yourself that you haven't really tapped into or shared with anyone in quite some time. And there could be an aspect of yourself that's underneath the mask, underneath the whatever it is, makeup, octopus, tentacles, whatever it is for you, underneath all of that stuff, when you understand that partaking in energy or living within a society that has norms or standards outside of like what feels right and true for you is not really something that you need to be doing in this lifetime. Or can you be your unique unicorn self and like let your unicorn horn glow? I was like, what is the equivalent of like letting your freak flag fly? Let your unicorn horn glow. But you know what I mean. This is about you embracing the uniqueness and magic within you and allowing yourself to really tell your story or tap into the aspects of you that are way beneath the surface, and understanding that by doing that and sharing those with others, not only do you call in your actual tribe, but you also manifest your highest and best path. Because when we step into the full light of our own authenticity, right, that's when we really soar. And that's what endears people to us as well, right? Because that's how people can relate. People know truth and authenticity when they see it. That's what it is, Okay. Let's go ahead. See what's going on. First half of April for Leos. I mean. Not surprised at all. We have the Knight of Wands here. So this is interesting. With like a half man, half lion situation. So it's a theme going on here. So remember, the wands are about the actions that we do or do not take around the work that we love to do. The wands also representing you being a fire sign. We are in Aries season of the fiery flame, the firelit flame, the inspiration, the artistic creativity, what really gets us going, what we want to move towards, what we want to manifest. And then we have the Knight of Wands coming in here saying, I'm going to go after what I desire. And just absolutely not overthink it or think twice about it. It's also that kind of like forward moving energy where you feel like your passion is going to be all of the fuel that you need to get to where you're going. So this can go either way, but it's definitely a beautifully strong, auspicious energy to be linking up with here. And then of course, obviously, you guys are the lions, and here you are in your lion form coming in here riding a horse. And if you look at it, do you see how his wand can kind of be like a hovering horn of the unicorn there? Interesting, no? Very interesting. Very good. I like that you're showing up in your own reading right away. It's always auspicious. Always auspicious. All right, what else is going on? Oh, stop, step, and repeat. Okay, let's just talk about in all the ways that this is amazing. So 9 of Cups here. This is the wish fulfillment key. But what's even more amazing about this is let's talk about octopus medicine. Because remember, we saw Ursula as the octopus, right? So octopus energy as it equates to the Tarot, is a hybrid energy between the Nine of Cups and the Seven of Cups. The Nine of Cups being wish fulfillment, the Seven of Cups being, you know, a lot of options, not a lot of clarity, feeling overwhelmed. Or there's like a tagline that goes with the Seven of Cups around, you know, dreams unlived or dreams not yet manifested, right? So it's really interesting that this is coming up in this way. Why do I feel like you guys are being incentivized or inspired to really make your own magic happen in your life and really go for the dream? Really try something that's a bit risky or a bit scary or a bit new and seeing what comes of it. This is fascinating. Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment. You are absolutely moving towards something and on a path that is going to basically propel you, right, to new heights and in a place that can only be described as otherworldly, right? With this unicorn here, this circle representing that of spirit, not of this world. Wow. What's going on? And then we come back down to earth just a wee bit. So here we have the Four of Swords here. Fascinating. Okay. And I want to talk about this because I was hinting at this a bit with the Knight of Wands. So the Four of Swords, this is, remember, the swords rule the realm of the mind, the thoughts that we think, our communications. But Four of Swords is really about allowing yourself to power down completely in order to rest, in order to be in your own energy, in order to recoup some of that spent energy, and then, you know, go on from here inspired with all of the chutzpah that you could possibly need. What's really interesting about this, and I was feeling this with the Knight of Wands, so these are two juxtaposed energies, right? So we have the go, 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 the passion's gonna, remember when I said this is that feeling of like, my passion is gonna be all the fuel that I need to get me to where I'm going? Well, you know, an earth sign might take issue with that. It's like, yeah, but have you thought this through? Have you made some changes to your habits and schedule to make room for these new passions, or make room for this new line of work, or make room to write this novel, or make room to whatever this is, take on this other responsibility, right? And then we get into Nine of Cups, which is excess as well. It's wish fulfillment, but it's also having a lot of something, right? And really enjoying life from that place of pleasure, right? And then going to the Four of Wands, that need to kind of rest and retreat. So it's a bit of an extreme energy coming in here, and that kind of like winds down. But what's really fascinating about this is, remember how we saw Ursula, or, you know, I relayed to you, Ursula stepping out of that, you know, like thick, luscious octopus woman kind of costume, and then being thinner on the other side of it, right? It's not a comment about her body shape. She's perfection, obviously. But Nine of Cups is about extremes, even overindulgence. And then we have this caterpillar here, who's a caterpillar's main job, and that, you know, part of its like life cycle is to eat as much as possible. Right? So it's amazing that it's depicted here. And then what does the caterpillar do? It goes into the chrysalis in order to transform. So this is really fascinating how this is coming through here, right? Very fascinating. Because this could be looked at as a chrysalis of sorts with the powering down, right? Knight of Wands. Wow. Knight of Wands. So the Nine of Wands, to clarify, the Knight of Wands. So Nine of Wands, more wands here. More actions taken. You know, this is that aspect of the wounded warrior that says, like, I'm going to keep going like I'm going because I know, like, I can't stop now. I'm going to make it through. I just have full faith and belief that all of the effort that I'm putting in, right, the sleepless nights, the fatigue, the, you know, the self-doubt, all of it's going to be worth it when I get to where I'm going, right? So this would say to me, along with the Knight of Wands, that you are definitely moving in a direction or putting a lot of effort into something that means a lot to you. That you're willing to sacrifice, you know, other parts of enjoyment of life or other parts of your routine or something that you would normally do in favor of this pursuit. Right? It means something to you. It's that sacrifice that comes into play when we are pursuing something that passionately, right? Boopity bops. Well, 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 if it isn't the Judgment key, Didn't we talk about judgment with the unicorn? I believe we did. So the fact that judgment is clarifying the Knight of Cups is like, okay, hello and goodbye. This is like we already talked about. This is about, you know, the tagline to this key would be look back with pleasure, right? This is about allowing the past to inform and not entrap you. Why do I feel like your wish fulfillment or whatever it is that you are working towards is directly related to aspects of yourself that maybe were not as appreciated by others in the past or may not be understood by many people considering the environment you're coming from or the framework that you're used to or the norm, quote. Why do I feel like she's saying like be gone and on to the future? Like we have like someone playing, I almost said a pipe. Play that pipe. Now I feel like someone's like playing the flute. You see that? Someone's playing the flute here, and then we have this like, you know, caterpillar smoking a pipe here, taking us into other dimensions and realities, right? I really feel like the key here is directly either, like I said, it's rooted in the past somehow and or related to aspects of yourself, especially with the unicorn here, that you don't necessarily lead with or that you didn't really realize you could bring to the front line of your experience as part of your calling card, your image, your brand, your priorities, right? Really interesting. Really, 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 really interesting, Leo. But you're interesting. You're like, yeah, I know. Feels very creative, though. 4 Swords. 4 of Swords, and to clarify is the Justice key. Get out of here. So this is Libra energy. It's the number 11. This is really, this is really great. So, right. Is that a wolf? Yes, it is. So Justice energy. This is very much everything being, I find a great comfort. This is a very comforting key here. Whenever justice comes up, we know that everything is exactly as it should be and everything is going to work out in the end. All will be fair because Lady Justice is blind. It's interesting that we have judgment and justice. These are two, actually, these are 2 keys that are often confused in their meaning, which is interesting. This speaks more of like legal matters, or things balancing themselves out in your life. For example, just as an example, if you're coming from a place where you've given a lot, right? Monetarily, energetically, goods and services, your heart, whatever it is, more than you've received, then the balance is going to be returning in your favor. And maybe because you've made some adjustments to self-worth or your way of thinking or whatever have you, you're going to be able to receive back a lot of what you've been given. I feel like this is going to be balancing out for you, which is really interesting with the 4 of Swords. But just look at this. Do you see how fascinating this is? We have this 4 of Swords with this sort of aspect of like, you know, going within and sort of like winding down within oneself, right? In order to rest and recuperate and maybe even reconsider, even to process. This could be processing changes as well, which is part of the caterpillar cycle, right? It goes into that, you know, chrysalis or cocoon, depending on if it's butterfly or moth, but it goes in there in order to transform and process and move into another state of being, right? It eats a lot and then it goes to sleep. I mean, I don't know if we can really like call that sleeping, turning into goo and then like transforming. That's kind of hard work, right? But the fact that we have justice here, kind of illuminating this aspect of the 4 of Swords, I feel like there's a special message here. I feel like you're going to put in a lot of effort and things are going to be moving. You might reach a point where things seem to slow down or you don't immediately see the results of your efforts in the way that you thought you would. But hang in there, it's coming. I feel like this is sort of a special message for a group of you guys, that it's going to be moving a certain way. And I feel like it's going to seem like it pauses. But really, it's just accumulating this energy to come back with you and give you some receipts and returns. It feels really positive, though. Let's go ahead and get an oracle. Oracle for Leo. Are you even ready for this? The web weaver, synchronicity, divine intelligence, cause and effect, number 4. This is directly speaking to what I just said. Let's talk more about it. First of all, it's a number 4 key. We have the 4 of swords here, right? Now this is also talking about cause and effect, and then we have the 2 balanced scales. Do you remember how we were also just saying that whatever you've given a lot of or been without, right, it's going to balance back in your favor. If you've been putting a lot of effort in and then it seems like things aren't really happening in the timing or the way that you expected them to, they are. You just might not be able to see the physical returns of that yet. So just rest and wind down and trust that the Justice key is working on your side and everything is working within the web of, divine timing, so to speak. The web weaver, synchronicity, divine intelligence, cause and effect. This very much speaks of our connections, right? Like spiders do, stories and connections. Interestingly enough, drawing another parallel, spiders, speaking of webs, also represent writers. They also speak of the stories that we tell. The stories that we've learned, the story that we grew up with, the stories that we tell ourselves, which ones are true and false. Remember, I saw Ursula writing her life story as well. So there's something in that, okay? This speaks of our connections and understanding that everything that we do, for everything there is a cause and effect. For every action there is a reaction, right? That is the way of things. That is the balancing to the justice scales here. That is the balancing of energy, right? I feel like also along this path, there's a lot of magic in this reading. There's going to be a lot of things that are lining up for you. I'm seeing synapses firing, especially with this Knight of Wands, Nine of Cups, and Judgment. I feel like you are working on something or happening upon a road where there's going to be a lot of deja vu, prophetic dreams, meaningful dreams, and feeling like the road that you are on is a road that you have been working up to for quite some time, whether consciously or unconsciously. There's been a lot of divine participation in placing you upon the road that you're on right now. And oh my God, it's so it's major. It really, really is. It's major. It's major. Now, I've been there a time or two in my life at times that I'm feeling like for you. And again, how that usually manifests is through feeling a lot of synchronicities, like this says, there's very meaningful dreams and just this deep feeling that you don't necessarily need to know how things are going to work out. And I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive, but it's true. When you get this feeling that I'm tapping into for you guys of like this road that I'm on, I think I've been preparing for it in some way, or everything leading up to this was so that I could get here. Suddenly you're not as concerned about the future because you just know you're exactly where you're meant to be. And regardless of what comes out of it, it doesn't quite matter because you're exactly where you're meant to be. Does that make sense? That feels rather important for me to say, rather important for me to say. But this is absolutely brilliant, Leo. It's so positive. I feel like you guys are really working on and towards something that is going to have long-reaching effects in your life, and also will affect positively the life and experiences of others. This is brilliant. With that being said, I so hope that this helps and resonates. If so, please do let me know in the comments below. I absolutely love hearing from you. I love reading through your comments. And also, if you could let me know in the comments what you think of this new format. How do we feel? Thoughts? I would love to hear from you guys. And yes, please remember to like this video. Please press that like button right about now. Please share and subscribe me. I would so appreciate that. Doing so helps me be with you in a more regular way because it helps everything circulate. I would very much appreciate that. And with that being said, just thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of y'all watching. And most of all, and as always, Leos, thank you for being you, and be well. Until next time.